So welcome once again, and today I'm in Edo, to be precisely in Benin, and actually visited a farm in Benin. So you can see the construction that is actually going on in the farm. So come along with me so that to show you can see the construction is going on. We have erected, all this pen has been actually erected, and if you check out this side too, it has been rated to that end as well. And this is our walkway that will actually take you to where the pens, the whole pens we have here. So it has actually been rated, and more are still coming. We are yet to cover this one. These ones are yet to be covered. It's just the block work that actually have been done. And if you watch inside, it's also plastered. Inside the floor is already plastered, and then the place has been filled. Don't mind this particular side. This is not what we are using now. So this is just what we use in filling the walkway. So this is what we use in filling the walkway. So all these things are going to be removed before the normal loamy soil will actually be introduced into this place. So if you watch, this is a mega one that is actually going on. And then this is some of the snail we are removing, and we want to make sure that everything they did wrong, we get it right. So this is some of the pens that have been used before now. So if you watch, you can see this is we just have to tilt back the soil so to give us the texture of what we want. But at the same time, we discover that there are already ants inside the pens. And so what we are doing is that we are going to treat this soil once again before we reintroduce them to this particular pen. And we have started the treatment already. I'm going to take you to that place so that you will see how we are actually treating it. So we discovered that we had a lot of ants that have invaded this place, and we can't stalk when the ants are here, because if we stalk, that simply means that in no distant time the ants will still invade the snail, to still attack the snail, and there will still be mortality. Most of them will die. So that is why we are treating the soil. So if you watch here, these just small eggs we discovered in the process of removing the soil for treatment. And these are other pens that have actually been covered, but we are yet to introduce our loamy soil. So these are the works we are going to do before I will actually go. We make sure that we introduce our loamy soil in all these pens, and then we'll stock them with our snail before we go. So if you watch this other side, the same thing is applicable. This one has not actually been fully constructed. There are still some work to be done here. So if you watch this pen, this is actually 9 feet by 3 feet pen. Why this one is about 4 feet by 3 feet pen, and this 4 feet by 3 feet will actually accommodate up to 50 points of play. And so this is the farm, and other constructions are going on in the farm as well, because we are looking at having other livestock in this particular. So it's not actually going to be only snail, but this is the snail department, this is the snail section of the farm. We have also poultry section, we also have the goat section, we also have fish section. So I'm just taking you around the snail section, and work is still going on. And maybe before the end of this week, we must have rounded up all these ones that are left. So I'm going to show you the soil where we're actually treating it. So if you watch, we have actually set up our fire here, and it's burning very well. And then the first set of this soil has been introduced inside, and is being cooked, and at least within, depending on the quantity of the soil in the pots, like for this particular quantity now, at least we are going to leave it for about 5-10 minutes or thereabouts before we remove it. And if you watch, it's still very cold here, but if you check the dam now, the dam must have been very hot. So what we'll do is that at the end of the day, we'll just till it so that the ones inside will come. Okay, come close, come close. If you watch closely, you will see some of the ants. So because of the hotness of the soil we are treating, they are trying to look for escape way. So that is why we need to treat it so that they will kill all these ants that would have invaded the snail in our pen. So if you watch, I actually stirring this so that those ones that are yet to get hot will get hot. So after I must have stirred it like this, all I just need to do is to close it for some minutes. If you watch now, it's getting hot, small, getting hot. So once I allow it to get hot, so this is how you currently treat. I think in treatment of the soil, personally, I prefer this method because it's easy and it doesn't give you the stress of waiting and waiting. So just cover it and allow it for some minutes. Once it gets hot, you turn it and then get another one, put inside. Once you put another one inside, also allow it for some minutes and cover it. And then once it's hot, you keep it to get cold for at least 24 hours. Once it stays for 24 hours, you are good to stock your snail or to introduce both the sand into the pen and the snails into the pen, and they will all be good, no issue, nothing. And so this is how you will get it treated and as fast as possible, and you are done, and you don't really need to waste much time. So if you watch, just as I told you, this is the mega farm that they have here. Other projects are still going on. If you watch here too, other projects are still going on. I think this particular one is the piggery session, while here poultry, this is the poultry session that is actually going on here. But here with me, I'm actually going to introduce the manager of the farm, who is actually managing this place. Then from there, I will interview him on the experience so far on snail farming and how the experience has been, and the short while he has been with me, I think he will be able to tell you the knowledge he has gotten and on most of the things that actually have been doing wrongly on the snail farm, and we have actually been able to correct them and then advise him better on what to do and what not to do. So with me is Mr. David, who is actually the farm manager of this place. So I want you to meet him, and I'm going to ask him a few questions so that he will be able to tell you his experience so far. So good. Okay, Mr. David, good afternoon, and once again, welcome. So we are live, and I want you to greet the audience first before I will ask you a few questions. So
thank you very much. This is Omobuge David Irabo. This reality time. I greet you all.
Okay, so far so good. You have actually been managing the snail aspect of this farm. You are the farm manager we have here. So I want to ask you, how far have your experience been since you have been managing this farm? What can you talk about the snail farming aspect?
Well, learning is a process. Every second, every minute, every hour. When I say this was the reality, that was my greetings, reality time. But when I say reality time, it's into diversity. From my starting, I was not able to get the clue I needed. Enough clue, I was having some mortalities and the rest of it. But when I saw the reality, with my instructor here and my trainee and everything, I discovered there was a lot to learn. A lot to learn. Not all we see on the YouTube, we have to say this is it. But the reality is just here. It's happening. So I learned a lot from it.
Okay.
Of the background.
Thank you so much. So far so good for the little time you have been with me, and we have been able to put you through in some things that was actually done wrongly. So how can you tell, or what can you say about my lecture so far so good that you have been with me, and what is the experience so far? Can you tell the audience what you have actually gotten so far so good?
Yeah, before now, various, a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. It was just like starting all over again. The reality. So there was a lot of mistakes, but when I got the facts of everything, Not everything I was saying before, but when I saw the reality, this is this is what is happening with the sound. This is the cause. I was having a lot of mortalities before now, but not after now. That is the reality. Before now, not after now.
That is
So quite encouraging experience that myself, I want to become a professor of it.
that is good. That is good. Okay, so that is very good.
Yeah.
And I know before we leave this place, you see, just as he has said, there is more to learn, and learning is a process. You know, before now, he has just been having a lot of mortalities, and you know, this one is one when he tell you that is reality, is a kind of is not theoretical again. He was able to learn it, practical aspect of those things that he had just been hearing, and he is confusing and a lot of all those stuffs. But here we are, he has been able to see the mistakes that he was actually doing. We have been able to point them out, and I believe he has taken corrections on those aspects. And I know from henceforth, I don't think those mistakes will be repeated
At
again.
all.
So, Mr. David, thank you very much, and I wish you the best in your snail farming. And as a manager of this farm, I know this farm is a very big farm, though still some sessions are still under construction. So because we're having the snail farming session, the
Poultry,
fishery session, poultry session,
turkey,
the pig session, and what I want to say is that I wish you the best as the manager, and I know from the little time I have been with you, I know you are a great man, and you will do well. So all the best, sir. I wish you the best.
I greet you all.
Bye.
Cheerio.